So as I promised, here it is. Hello there, I'm Anthony, and today we will be finally talking about Esoctrilihum's latest album. I was planning to record it earlier, but Paulu's new album changed a little my plans. Anyway, better late than never. And I guess I still haven't told you, although some people know it very well, but Esoctrilihum is definitely one of the most important projects in my life. But maybe later on this channel there will be more time for discussing projects that influence me the most. And not only projects, but anyway, Esoctrilihum is a French project that plays different kinds of dissonant black and death metal, I would say. The man who is behind the project, Astagul, is responsible for every instrument on every album. And he plays some more unexpected instruments. For example, for the newest album he got himself 12-string acoustic guitar. And he also plays, for example, on such Scandinavian harp called nickel harpa, which is often similar to some violin stuff. And it's one of those factors that make atmosphere on his albums so great in my opinion. What's more important, he's been releasing albums since 2017 every year. And it's even more insane when you get to know that in 2022 and 23 he released 2 albums. He also uses some singles or apps on his Bandcamp. But Astagul's music has been obviously evolving for those 7 years. At the beginning he was playing pretty standard, melodic, atmospheric, dissonant black and death metal. It was obviously nice, but I would say that his 4 first albums are not as great as the 3 next ones. Everything has changed in 2020 with release of Eternity of Sheok, where he was adding some more melodic and catchy riffs. And according to me, on this album Astagul started doing some wild vocal experiments. In 2021 Astagul released Div Requiem for the Serpent Telepath. This album is lighter than Eternity of Sheok, but on this one he started upgrading atmosphere. For this one guitars became a little more melodic, and overall it became more psychedelic. But in 2022 there was a huge game changer, which occurred with release of Consecration of Spiritus Flesh. Here he decided to play the most brutal and the loudest thing he actually could. And he did it great. It was, by the way, my second favorite album of 2022. Lots of aggressive dissonant drums and guitars, as well as loud yells out of nowhere. And later in 2022 he releases another album, Salts, which is very similar to Consecration of Spiritus Flesh, but it's also great. And as I said a little earlier, I like his every album, although some people think that since 2023 he's become a little too repetitive. Indeed, creates very similar atmosphere on his albums, but actually with every listen to any of his albums I discovered something new. The only thing that he could improve would be making a little shorter tracks, but honestly, as long as they are great, I don't mind the length. And here I'll say that I find his latest album better than the one from 2023. Maybe because Astral Constellations were too long. But his new album has 7 tracks and its running album is like 1 hour 15 minutes. So 15 minutes per song on average. Anyway, I would like to move on to the newest album, as there happened lots of different things. At the beginning of the first track we got some atmospheric psychedelic synths with his very characteristic vocals. And a few moments later, one of the most exciting parts on this track, the real beginning of acoustics. And later vocals and drums become even more aggressive. Then it becomes more acoustic and slower again. The next track tends to be even more melodic. And later there are insanely fast drums with some slower melodic guitars. And what I love in Astagul's music are probably those unexpected instrument changes. Like here. The next track accepts fast drums and guitar has also great glorious part at the beginning. And later at the end his subtle vocal and more acoustics. Every track on this album has lots of pace changes, but I would say the next track has the most. Like here. While the next track is finally calmer and it's not metal. It's, I would say, so introspective. On the next track, Astagul uses the same structure I was talking about before. But more at the ending of this track there occurs a moment where he tries to be more aggressive than usual. Track is probably a combination of those dissonant black and death metal parts with acoustic, symphonic and psychedelic parts. Astagul really likes putting combinations of his ideas at the endings of albums, what is especially seeable on two last tracks of Astral Constellations. There is just everything I mentioned before, so I don't think there is a reason to make a showcase of this track. Anyway, that was the whole album. If you are also avid listeners of Esoctrilihum, then let me know what do you think of this album. Because some people might complain that this album is too repetitive, having looked at his previous albums. Although I'm a little biased and his every album is in my opinion masterpiece. And this is not an exception. And if you haven't known Esoctrilihum before, then you gotta check this project immediately. And thanks for watching this video. I'm encouraging you all to support me by subscribing to this channel and liking this video. And see you soon in my next creations.